Here we go. Awesome. So welcome to our fourth video in our series, our fourth class. We're going to be going over our heart chakra today. Hope everybody's had an opportunity to get caught up and watch the first three, because as we know, they all, we work our way up from starting from our foundation. Foundation is always important. It's always key. And we work toward aligning our system from bottom to the top. That's how we build anything. We start with the foundation and we build upon it. All right. So we went over our root chakra, the I am, the sacral chakra, the I feel, the solar is the I do. That's our action, taking action and movement. That's all about movement and going, right? Confidence. And we learned about the oils and some stones and the foods to eat with that one. I hope everybody's started incorporating your, the rainbow colors to now, right? So everything in steps. If you're just new to, eating, the eating side of things, making better choices. Remember to incorporate your reds for your grounding, right? Your oranges for your cleansing of the your sacral chakra. You've got your intestines, okay, your gut, all of this. There's a lot of detoxing going on. And throughout, you'll see that there's a lot of detoxing even in the higher chakras, because it's important to remove what no longer serves us, not only in the physical, right, but also on the emotional level as well. Because in order to put in all the good and to put in all the positive, the body needs to be able to, put it somewhere. It needs to be able to absorb, okay? And so we have to remove the things that hinder that change and the transformation. So we're removing all that's toxic, okay, on all levels, right? And we're replenishing the soul. We're replenishing the spirit, the body, the mind. Everything becomes renewed. And we're able to take in that deep cleansing breath and just feel amazing at the end of this process. So I'm so proud of you, for watching, following along, for taking the action steps as we go through. And I am so excited to introduce the heart chakra as well. So this is the I love, right? This is where our, compassion, this is our heart that we're talking about. So putting our heart into the things that we do, showing compassion. We're going to get into some of those details, but I also have a list of the physical attributes, what systems are connected to the heart chakra physically, and how it all works together, and some things that we can do to help support on both, on all of those levels. Okay, I'm some of the information I'm going to share is going to trickle into the throat chakra, which of course, if you know me, then you know that I have some amazing information on the throat chakra that I worked on personally. I have a testimonial on that, but it goes way above and beyond even what I personally did. Okay, all of these do. So I've spent a lot of time and focus here, though, with this one in particular. I have tried my best to narrow down the information. The heart chakra is one that this could be a 2-hour class, 3-hour class, but I'm gonna talk fast through the slides, because I have more content on this one than I have put in so far. And so I want you to be sure to remove all distractions, and get your pen and paper out, because there's a lot of information that's about to come out that I would love for you guys to be able to write down. And then, of course, anything you miss, you go back and watch the replay and add it in that way as well. But here we go. I love this one. And as a reminder, every time, this is really important. So of course, foundationally, the basic, steps to ensure that we're, working on balancing our chakras in the right way, in a positive way. So being sure, of course, to use the appropriate oils, right? We're using doTERRA, we're using the pure therapeutic grade, nothing synthetic, because there's a lot of these things that are going to be spoken of with ingesting, and it's important that you are only doing what I'm sharing with you with the doTERRA oils, because I know that those are safe. We know that those are therapeutic grade and can be ingested, as they are also supplements, and they've have the labeling on the bottles. So if in case you're not sure which one can be ingested, because maybe you forgot, check the labeling. It'll say ingredient if you cannot ingest it, okay? And it will say supplemental fact if you can, okay? So going through this process, it's really important to keep in mind that, you know, we need to have a strong desire to release the negative energies, the things that are we've maybe held on to or come and, you know, pick up along the way. We need to be able to let certain those things go in order to replace what we do need. Okay, so clean slate, clean canvas, those are the perfect environments for creating something amazing, something new. All right, so we want to start off with a clean slate. Concentrate and be intentional with your application. Okay, so there's a lot of mindset work that goes hand in hand with this as well. And start from your root chakra and work your way up toward the crown. So if you, once you have, you know, gone through the root and gone, you know, worked your way up, your maintenance happens, right? You come back and you can focus and be intentional in one specific area. I know with this series, there's going to be a lot of people that may not be interested in hearing about maybe the sacral chakra, because they really want to focus in on the heart chakra. So this is the video that you're gravitated toward, and that is amazing, and it's great. Start wherever you are at, okay, and then just go back and to the root, and then work your way back up. All right. So think loving, high vibrational thoughts and grateful thoughts. This is so crucial for the heart chakra. All right, because this aligns us literally with that heart space. Say kind things about yourself and others, and be intentional with the healing of your chakras. Take a quiet moment and focus on which chakra is out of balance. Our body speaks to us, our emotions speak to us, the thoughts that creep in, it's all very telling as to where we're at along in this journey. And remember that we are all a work in progress. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, you know, like we all have things that we have to work on, and there are times nobody's going to have like the perfect chakra system all the time, like, you know, unless you're like this master, I don't know, like Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, we need to always keep in mind that we are not perfect, and emotions are real. They happen all the time. It's part of being our, you know, it's our human experience, right? Like, we're going to have times of feeling angry, upset, an outburst here and there, but those are when we're intentional with recognizing, oops, like, then we can kind of go back and take that deep breath and bring ourselves back in and work on it. It's telling of where to add a little bit more focus and attention, maybe learning how to respond to a situation versus reacting to the situation, kind of thing. So like I said, don't be hard on yourself, and don't be hard on anyone else either. This is the focus of the heart chakra, is learning compassion for ourselves and for others as well. So we want to show a lot of grace. And this is where that happens. We have three brains. We have the one, our logical brain, and we have the, when we think from our heart, that's the emotional side, right? The emotional brain. And then we have our gut, which is our intuition. So we follow either our intuition most of the time. Maybe we're dominant following our heart, listening to our heart space, and sometimes we might just be dominant, thinking, you know, logically on a situation. So integration is really important. We should be able to tap into all three and work from that space. So we're going to learn a little bit about that. This is where the heart chakra is located. Of course, it's right there in the middle of the chest. So, you know, along your sternum, right there in the center. It's not right or left. It's dead center right there, okay, in between your breasts. So that's where we focus, and the color associated with that is green, okay. So before we get into the emotional side, the green I wanted to keep in mind. It is the color that's associated with it, but sometimes pink, you'll see in some places where pink can also be a heart chakra color as well. So pink and green, I usually just say that, but it's most well known as being green. All right. All right, so with the we're going to focus on the emotional side first, and then we'll move into the physical side, because that is what chakras are all about. It's the interface, it's the integration between our emotions and our physical body. It's our spiritual physical connection. And let me pull this open really quick. As I go through my slides, I want to make sure to integrate some of this other stuff here too. All right. So a balanced chakra, okay, a balanced heart chakra would be when we are in alignment with caring. You know, we're compassionate for one another. We feel empathetic. Okay, we are able to put ourselves into other people's shoes and, you know, empathize with their situation or what they're going through. We're more accepting when we're more balanced, okay? And there's a lot of self-love that happens as well, self-acceptance, self-love. We feel at peace, all right? We're not, you know, kind of like, well, we're at peace. We feel centered and we're content, okay? When we feel happy, it's joyful, nothing really heavy weighing down on us, on our chest, no heavy feelings. Okay, so when we're out of alignment, it can go either way. We can be a little, you know, excessive, like, you know, where there's too much energy going on in that heart space, or there's too little going on there. And so you'll see the differences with the excessive characteristics. You might feel, or you might notice someone else feeling there's codependency, poor boundaries. Okay, and poor boundaries, it's, you know, one of those things too. It's like, even when you're coming from a good place and you're just wanting to help someone, right? I've experienced this personally, and I've had to learn how to create boundaries with that as well. But just coming from a good space, you're wanting, you know, to help or to show someone you care, but they may not be ready for it, or they feel like you're pushing too hard. So it's one of those things where to understand what those boundaries are and to be respectful of those boundaries. So it goes, you know, a couple of different ways. Jealousy, feelings of jealousy, martyr mentality, and people pleasing. Okay. Let's see, people pleasing, deficient characteristics, maybe feeling withdrawn. Okay, so antisocial, withdrawn, critical of others. So that you see, that's the opposite of being compassionate. Okay, so being critical of others and judgmental, being intolerant, feeling lonely, feeling isolating yourself, lack of empathy, and lack of intimacy. All right. So when remember our electrical grid, right? We're an energetic being, as well as we're not just matter. We're not just, you know, physical matter. We are an emotional being as well. Emotions. I know a lot of us, you know, may have been like programmed or raised, you know, to think of, you know, you're too big to cry, you know, like it usually happens a lot too with men. It's like, you know, you're not a little girl, stop crying, kind of thing, right? That's so false. There's so many false programming, you know, so much false programming that happens. And this is a time to, you know, remove all of that false programming. Okay. And that's part of the detoxing, right? The stuff that isn't true. It's okay to show emotion. We have in a very positive way, and we can do that. But to feel the emotion is extremely normal, and how we work through and how to process it within the body, takes time, And it's well worth that time that we put into that, because so much healing happens as a result. All right, so we're not meant to hold all this excess energy. We're meant to use what is good for us, the learning experience of it, the growth, right? And then we allow the rest to remove, just like through the digestive system. It's all part of the digestive system. We take what we need, and then the rest needs to go. All right, so the heart chakra is linked to, the system runs through the thymus gland, the lymphatic system, the lymph glands, your heart, of course, your rib cage, lungs, our skin, all right, our blood circulation, our immune system, and our arms and hands, okay? And you can kind of see how that works, right? When we start to maybe feel anxious, I know that people can probably relate to this. I have felt it in the past too, where, you know, you start to have a little bit of anxiety, and then your hands and arms start to tingle a little bit. You know, maybe your blood pressure, you feel your blood pressure rising, and it's, you know, you have high blood pressure, and maybe your arms are starting to hurt. And usually those, you know, when somebody calls in for chest pain, then they're asked, you know, does your arm hurt, right? Your left arm especially. So the arms and hands start to show signs. Skin issues, you know, can come from the gut, but it can also come from the heart chakra as well. So when we start to get angry, and you know those phrases that are used all the time, like, oh, that just made my blood boil, okay, right? So it created a lot of heat, blood boiling. Now you might have some redness and flushing because you're angry, okay? So you see the reactions happening on your skin, even with acne sometimes, like the boils that we might encounter, you know, like things getting underneath our skin. I'm so angry. That got so, you know, it irritated me. So you see the results in the skin. So with the lungs are a lot of times when we go through times of maybe loss or grief, then we start to, our immune system gets compromised, of course, and we can see that that's where that energy is held, is in the lungs. So we might start having some breathing issues. We might be struggling with, you know, like bronchitis, you know, chronic, right, coughing and things like that. So the lungs are heavily affected when we have something going on within the heart. The emotions that are triggered within the heart chakra can affect physically, of course, in these areas. So it's like when we're upset and angry, you hear, take a deep breath, right? We're engaging the lungs. Take a deep breath. Take in that deep breath and relax. And then we start to even feel like our blood pressure starting to come back down, okay? So with the circulatory system, you know, what our blood, you know, is circulating through our body, of course, but blood is made up of our cells that are being distributed, right? It carries oxygen throughout the entire body. Our oxygen needs these, you know, our body needs the oxygen in order to survive. It's important that circulation happens. So taking in those deep breaths even helps with that circulatory system, okay? Blood is made up of water, mainly water. So 80% of our body really is made up of water. So it's so important. It's so important to stay hydrated, increase that water fluid, water intake, because if we start to feel like tired, it could be, you know, a sign of dehydration. And then of course that might mean that your circulatory system may also be compromised. Okay, when we start to see dry skin, we know that we need to increase our water intake. Right, the body is asking, it's showing the signs of, hey, I need this. I'm not getting enough water to the skin. All right, so increase that water intake. And I love to see when we have water challenges happening, and as a reminder of, hey, water is so important. This is your life source. Your heart is literally your life source. So we give it what it needs to move, okay? So lots of good stuff here, lots of good stuff. The lymphatic system doesn't have its own pump, right? So your lymphatic system runs through the entire body, and it helps to remove bacteria as we start to flush out with that water, flushing out the toxins with the water. Your blood flowing into certain areas helps with healing, okay? Bringing the oxygen, nutrients, and water to those areas. And as the bacteria starts to be dislodged, or the toxins start to be dislodged, your lymphatic system picks them up and it moves it out. It's a drainage, it's a sewage system. It's a drainage pipe that helps to remove all that bacteria out of the body. So again, water flushes and it helps with circulation, and it promotes so much healing on a lot of so many areas. It's very grounding as well, believe it or not. Water is grounding. So, and it helps to regulate your body temperature and a lot of other systems in the body, right? So just to give you an idea of the systems that we're working on, and how crucial that is. And I love too that when we use our essential oils on our body, that when we drink our water, it helps to move the oils throughout the entire body as well. So it works with our circulatory system. That's why every single cell in the entire body, right, is getting the benefit when we use our essential oils. Even when we're focusing on a targeted area, the rest of our body's still benefiting because it's going through the circulatory system. So when we use our oils, we'll get into that here in just a little bit. We are, however, for the chakras, we're going to use mostly topically, and we'll go over that here in just a little bit. So associated dis-ease. So a balanced heart chakra is when we're at ease, we're centered, everything's fine. But when there's a dis-ease, okay, when we're no longer at ease, then we start to feel fatigued, right? We have poor circulatory system. Maybe we're not hydrating. Our body, our circulatory system needs something to circulate. So put in the blood, right? The water that goes in to circulate it through. Difficulty with breath. Okay, so we might have some lung issues, tension and stress. Okay, anger, maybe some negativity, paranoia, high blood pressure, heart attack, heart pain and problems, weakened immunity, cancer, and breast cancer. Okay, so the breast, the lungs, the circulatory system, the heart is all what we're focusing on. So we know that the color of this one is green, and having things in our home to kind of be a reminder to, you know, set our intention to focus in on the color that we're trying to work on. When we can associate and anchor the color, it's so much easier to remember, right? So when we're praying or when we're meditating, then we can be intentional with imagining the color washing over us, you know, filling up our heart space with a lot of green, filling our aura with green kind of thing, right? Using the green clothing as well to absorb those colors, just to kind of program, because remember, our brains are amazing computer systems, right? So it's all about the programming. It's what we anchor, what our beliefs are, because the subconscious is amazing. Literally what we believe is what runs the show, okay? So the self-talk, the anchoring of, okay, when I see green, then this is how I'm gonna bring myself into balance. I'm gonna be calm, I'm gonna be loving and compassionate, all the things that we read through that, you know, are showing signs of balanced energy there, okay? So, and just to run through just in case, because I know there were some to be able to see the good in everyone, right? Being friendly, outgoing, charitable, secure with yourself, unconditionally loving, trusting in others, self, the process of life. Sometimes we fight against that so much, don't we? Feeling aligned with our purpose and being heart driven. And that's, when we're in alignment with our heart, we are able to open up that beautiful flower and to allow our true selves to come out. So many times that, we have, I know I have, worried so much about what other people may think, feeling judged, right? So then I kind of start to hide certain areas of myself because out of fear of what if they don't like me? What if I'm not accepted, right? And there's so much to let go of and to say, you know what? And realizing and self-acceptance and saying, no, I'm authentically, I'm a great person, right? Like we have to sit back and go, wait a minute. Like, no, I'm going to express myself. I'm going to come from my heart and people are going to see who I truly am, right? And my vibe will absolutely attract my tribe. And coming from that heart space, I personally, I used to be told, you're just way too nice. That's why you're always getting hurt. And I'm like, so am I supposed to stop being nice so that I don't get hurt? No, I'm just going to start being nice to the right people, right? Like we cannot stop being who we are. We have to be more of who we are and unfold all of that and come from that heart space, but also understanding what the boundaries are too. Being able to say, wait a minute, I know not to go into that direction because that's not where that won't be received, appropriately, or maybe it's not the right time. This is where I need to be. I'm going to go to the people who need my energy, who need my love, who need my, that are needing it, right? And also who are wanting it. So those are things too to keep in mind as to, where am I going to put all this amazing love and energy into? What are my purpose? What are my desires? That your desires, the things that you're most drawn to and interested, will lead you into your purpose, your mission, and your passion. So allow yourself to follow your heart at times, okay? And then of course, checking in with the logical side too and your intuition as well. That'll help you with staying, aligned with into the right direction. But absorb the color green, okay? And make sure that you're absorbing literally with your foods. So, this is your foundation, right? This is where our oils come from. Our essential oils are coming from nature, our trees, plants, our flowers, our food, citrus. We have even a line of essential oils that we can cook with. I use the basil essential oil, cilantro, black pepper. Like there's a lot of things that we have that I don't have to go out and purchase, in the store. Like I'm using that to cook and it's amazing and you only need a little bit. But the doctors of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition. All right. So, and that proper nutrition is literally the cure. So preventing heart disease naturally. So here are some things to keep in mind. So avoid eating industrial vegetable oils. Definitely eat less sugar, ideally no sugar, right? Sugar is extremely, extremely toxic to the body. And disease feeds off of sugar. Tumors, that's tumor food, right? So that grows. That's when I had I found out that I had a tumor at the base of my skull. It's one of the things that I had to learn really quick was like, to prevent this in the future from ever happening again, I am definitely going to have to cut down or cut out the sugar. So it leads into a lot of other things, issues as well, with diabetes. And but it's a toxic substance that we need to definitely not come anywhere near. So there are alternatives for that. Eat nutrient-dense foods, eat fermented foods, your green vegetables. Very, 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 very important for the heart chakra, okay? And of course, it's going to clean out your digestive system. It's going to clean out all your filters. It's really amazing cancer prevention and fighting. Phytonutrients that are in there that are extremely healing. So, you know, doing your green smoothies, juicing is crucial. And it's, you know, one of those things where it's like, until you've gotten used to eating right or eating these types of things, it's a turn off. Like, I fought and fought and fought to try and get my kids to eat their vegetables. And I was one of those kids. I didn't want to eat vegetables either. It's the chemical constituents that are in the vegetables that cause it to taste bitter. That is what actually fights cancer. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, it's necessary. So it's one of those things where we can kind of mask it, maybe adding in a couple of fruits to, you know, for the natural sweetening in there to kind of hide a little bit of that bitterness. But you can get really creative with that. But this right here is so important. Maintain a healthy weight and visit the doctor for health checkups on a regular basis. This is integrative medicine, and so we're not completely doing away with our healthcare system, right? We need our doctors because we need the diagnosis that we need. It's a relationship that we're having with our physicians to make sure that they're checking everything that needs to be checked for maintenance. You know, if there's something that needs to be worked on, then be in communication with your doctor to say, hey, I would love to try the natural approach and see if I can, you know, help support my body that way first before considering something else. Okay. And then your doctor will work with you. I have had amazing experience with my doctors in having that communication with them, and it's in my chart and everything natural. So they know. So when I go in, they say, okay, well, here's what's going on. And you're going to need some type of a steroid for that muscle you just pulled. Do you want something called in, or do you want to try something natural first? They already know. They're programmed. Like they know what to expect. And so it's an amazing relationship that I highly encourage. If you're taking medications that for your heart right now, if you're taking any medications at all, please, by all means, have this conversation with your doctor before making overnight changes. You want to move into it gradually, as well as with your essential oils that we're going to introduce too. And I'll give you a couple of examples as we go through them. But there are going to be some that if, you know, when we're taking certain medications, we don't want any kind of interactions. You know, even when like you're on blood thinners, for instance, you know, you can't really eat too much, you know, tomatoes or kale because it can thicken or it can, you know, the blood. So even the foods that we're eating they need to be monitored. So those conversations, for those of you who are on medications right now, it's really important. If you have any questions about anything specific, you're more than welcome to reach out after you've watched this. So eating your rainbow, we talk about that. You know, incorporating all of the colors, fruits and vegetables are essential for maintaining our chakras and keeping them in balance, because they are detoxing to the body. Remember, we're working on removing toxins so that we can live well. Okay. And our foods, these foods have a very high frequency and a high energy. So it helps us to feel the same way. We respond in the same way. We align ourselves with those frequencies, so we have more energy. Here's some examples of some green fruits and veggies that you can get, because it's like one of those things you rack your brain and go, wait, I can't remember which ones were green. Here's a little list for you just to kind of help get started, but you could also Google, you know, foods for heart chakra, as well as just green fruits and vegetables. But eat your greens, so important. Combine your greens. They make for amazing juicing. Don't be afraid to put in your, you know, your limes or your apples. Just, you know, in with your kale, especially the kale. Add those green apples in there. You know, figs even, to kind of sweeten it up. But, and you can't say that there isn't at least one thing on there that you absolutely love. So don't think that like, oh my gosh, I have to eat all of that. Start with the ones that you do like and love and incorporate that little by little until you can add something new into your routine, into your diet. I know that for me, when I first got started on my journey of wellness, the food part was a little difficult. And even if I was eating well, I know that supplementation is extremely important because we can't get all of the nutrients that we need from our foods these days. We still need to supplement no matter how well we're eating. But one of the things that I absolutely love about our lifelong vitality is that it's made with whole foods. So we're also getting in the kale and the things that we may be missing out of our diet, especially when we're just getting started onto this journey and we're like, uh-oh, I'm going to have to develop a taste for this. So, moving and working your way into it. But this trio pack is something that I started using early on that for the purpose of detoxing, because like I had said, my story started off with a tumor at the base of my skull. And my focus after doing extensive research was I need to eliminate all toxins. All right. So as many as possible. So removing from the body what causes inflammation in the first place. This helps with that. It's a very light detox, but it does support, quite a bit. So there's a whole food complex that assists the body to heal. Okay. This does come in a vegan formulation. So you can choose this one or the vegan, but the E-omega in here is, your fish oil. Of course, you have your vegan counterpart. So this helps with healthy function of your brain, your eyes, your nervous system, maintains healthy skin. Your hair and nails, promotes alertness, okay, promotes a positive mood. So it's amazing how our nutrients, right, or lack thereof, can affect how our emotions are. So when we're feeling down, right, we're not eating those high energy foods that raise us up, bring us up, but we also get weighed down by toxins in our body. So it affects us on a lot of different levels. So it's very important. So it enhances learning, because this is brain food, but guess what? This is also thyroid food as well. So we will definitely be revisiting this again when we talk about the throat chakra, because our throat chakra absolutely needs these amazing essential oils, or E-omega. Supports fatigued muscles, promotes strong teeth and bones, all right? The alpha CRS is one that we had incorporated for my son because this is major for your immune system. The alpha CRS is the component that helps with detoxing. So this is your light detox. It removes stuff out of the system. It supports healthy cell function and metabolism as well. Supports mental clarity, includes the tummy tamer, that blend to soothe an upset stomach, and it supports brain function. Remember our gut-brain connection, okay? And our immune system sits in our intestines, okay? So when we have toxic buildup, our immune system is compromised, right? And so clearing out that area so that the immune system can wake up and breathe and do what it needs to do. We overload it a lot of times, so it just kind of just gets bombarded. It helps it. Those are like our soldiers. It fights for us. It protects us, the immune system. So, but then when our immune system's too busy fighting, then all these others get past it. It's not being completely effective. So we have to eliminate as much of the things that are bombarding it. So we start to become immune compromised, all right? So this alpha CRS helps with supporting to build the immune system back up. And this has been really crucial for my son, who was struggling a lot with his allergies, which is an immune issue, okay? So alpha CRS, hands down, absolutely love it. And then of course our microplex supports healthy immune function, healthy digestion. So all the stuff that we've removed, we're taking out, right? We're putting back in all the stuff that we need. So we are supporting our bone health. It provides vitamin A, C, E, and B. And here we go. It includes the whole foods. We have kale, dandelion, parsley, kelp, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and spinach. All right, so we see some greens in there. And it also contains calcium, magnesium, zinc, copper, manganese, chromium, and other minerals. Pretty much all, I mean, it's all of the essential nutrients that we need from a daily vitamin, but this is the a step above that. It gives us exactly what we need. We're not deficient in any of that. And just to kind of give you a rundown. So general wellness and vitality, antioxidant and DNA protection, energy, okay, metabolism, bone health, immune function, stress management, cardiovascular health. This is absolutely amazing for cardiovascular health. So this is, again, helping with your heart chakra, but because of what I've mentioned, it's also helping all the other chakras, right? Like every single chakra. This LLV is absolutely amazing. So no matter which chakra you're working on, this helps to support. So healthy hair, skin, and nails, your eye, brain, nervous system health, liver function, right? Digestive health. Remember, it's detoxing, it's removing stuff that doesn't belong in the body and replenishing and replacing what does. Lung and respiratory health. Okay, it's gentle on the stomach and it does not contain genetically modified material, and it is dairy free. All right, so it's really important. It's really important to take a really good look at this and learn all the great benefits, but you know, also what's in this. So it's important to place these in context. So hold on a second, let me move this. Okay, so of course, these nutrients, you know, are what our body needs to function optimally and to heal. So the full dose, and I love this, right? The full dose of LLV is 12 capsules a day, which is like 2, so there's 3 bottles, okay? So you take 2 of each in the morning, okay? So that's 6 in the morning. It's not a lot, I promise you. I was a person before doTERRA, I gagged with 1 vitamin and I couldn't take it, but there's a trick and tip to taking these. So now I can take 5 at a time. So it's super easy, they're easy to swallow. And then you take at lunchtime with your meal 2 of each one. Take it at the beginning of your meal. When they say to take this with food, it's important not to do it at the very end of your meal. You're full, now your vitamins are sitting on top and it's harder to get them down. So take a few bites of your meal, take your vitamins, and then continue your meal. Remember, when you're taking your vitamins, drink it with a full glass of water. What does that do? It helps with weight management too, because now you've drank a full glass of water. You're helping with feeling fuller faster. You're eating less, so you're able to do better portion control as well. So, and then of course the water helps to break down your foods and flush. So let's, and then that's actually, that serving is actually equal to 10 to 12 servings of fruits and veggies a day. I don't eat that many fruits and veggies. I don't eat that many servings a day. But if I were, I know that my system would be pretty cleansed, right? So you see where how the detoxing works and happens, and also the phytonutrients that are being brought into the system is really being absorbed. So that's a lot of phytonutrients that are really working to help support our body on so many levels. Dis-ease doesn't like an environment that is full of phytonutrients, I promise you. It doesn't like it. So we're cutting out toxins, which triggers inflammation, and inflammation, of course, we know triggers pain, and it triggers the body to start to develop a lot of different issues, right? So this is 100% focused on health care versus the sick care model, where we just take medications constantly just to maintain issues rather than eliminating the issue altogether, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to help support the bodies to do what it knows to do naturally, and that's to heal itself. Our body is absolutely amazing and can do that. We just need to help it along. All right, so, and there are essential oils in the LLV as well, and that's part of the Tummy Tamer blend. So we know, of course, the heart chakra is the center of the heart. So of course, again, acceptance, compassion, all right, color is green. And there are several supporting oils. There's so many that I decided to write a list of them and share them on a slide. And we'll go over, you know, a little bit of the meanings as well. But the oil of joy is our elevation blend, all right? There's a blend of different oils in there, and just breathing that in is wonderful. You could also dilute this oil and just, you know, put it over the heart, okay? If you're feeling really, really, really down and you're needing support with kind of just raising your energy up a little bit and, you know, bringing you out of just kind of like a different mindset. So that helps to support those feelings of depression, or maybe you're feeling down. This really helps with kind of lifting you up. So of course there is some citrus in there because citrus is very uplifting as well. So you could apply that to the chest and heart area and inhale it. Always when we're working on the emotional side, make sure that we're, you know, breathing in and triggering the limbic system part of the brain. That is going to release the endorphins and the, you know, what our body needs, our brain needs to be able to react or respond in the way that it needs to. So, and then while we're working on our chakras, then we want to engage on the location that we're working on, okay? So, of course, you know, we have the emotional essential oil kit that is color-coded for you. So Forgive would be that oil blend there. Forgive essential oil has bergamot in it, which is when people are struggling with really, 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 really low moods, right? Like maybe we're feeling a little like just really, really down. Then bergamot is actually one of the #1 oils to help with supporting that. Okay, juniper berry helps with maybe some PTSD, you know, type of feelings, maybe some past traumas that we're struggling with, and maybe we might be experiencing a little bit of night terrors. So juniper berry is actually the oil of night, which helps with supporting on that level to help with processing. And myrrh is the oil of Mother Earth. So basically it's very grounding. So it's taking those emotions that maybe if we're dealing with like maybe some anger or guilt, shame, all those things that help with, you know, all those things that cause us to feel angry, right? Or withdrawn, things like that. This helps with processing the things to be able to not so much move past it, but process to where we're able to release. Okay, maybe forgiving ourselves or someone else that may have done something to us, or you know, there's actually a really nice exercise for when you're ready to do this, is to write down a list of people. Hold on, let me mute. Hey, Carrie-Ann. This is to write down. Let me try and I can't find the mute. Do you mind muting? There we go. Thank you. Sorry. So this helps. Oh, there's an exercise that I absolutely love, and I did this a while back because it was much needed. This was a process that I personally went through, and you know, you write down a list of all the people that you need to release, right? To forgive, people that may have hurt. Okay, so people that have hurt you, write their names down on a piece of paper. And then in another column, write down all the people that you've hurt, because we've been hurt and we've hurt as well. And so you write those down as well. And then you got to make sure you write your name down on that list as well. Very important to write your name down on that list. And then we go through one by one, using our oil, applying it to our chest, right? We're going to dilute that with some coconut oil. We're going to dilute it. We're going to breathe it in, and we're going to bring our heart and our mind into alignment with forgiveness. And then we go through and just, say, and it's a personal space, you're creating your own personal space. We're not reaching out to them on the phone. We're not writing them a letter or anything like that, but we're going through and we're saying, so-and-so, I forgive you for A, B, and C. Okay. And you go through that process of releasing and forgiving. Okay. And then you go through the next person and you go on, so on. It's a very emotional time, and there's going to be tears. There's going to be, a lot of, but allow it to come out, allow it to flow. At the end of that, your heart feels so much lighter. It feels so good, because in releasing them, essentially, you have truly released yourself. We hold ourselves in that, because it truly is harmful for the heart and for the lungs. We grieve, right? And so we allow ourselves to be free from that. So it's very, very replenishing. Renewing is the renewing blend. And then at the end, you apologize for, so-and-so, I'm so sorry that I did this to you, because we have to, forgive ourselves for the things that we've done as well. And at the end, the things that we hold against ourselves, man, I did this, and, I'm still carrying that, like, oh, I'm so stupid, right? Like I've done that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Or I can't believe I used to blankety blank, right? Or, and so we have to show ourselves that grace, the same grace and compassion, all of that, to be able to understand that who we are today is not who we were yesterday, right? Growth happens, and it's about renewing. And this is where all that growth occurs, is there in the heart. Okay. So green is also a color of renewal, regeneration, transformation. It's growth. We see it in the springtime when things become new. And so life, everything comes back to life, right? So those are the things to keep in mind when working through this process. So this blend uses tree and herb essential oils to help encourage feelings of peace and forgiveness when you're consumed by negativity, anger, or guilt. It's an amazing blend. I absolutely love it. And let's see. So forgive, of course, we have thyme. Okay. Thyme is an amazing oil if you're working through a lot of anger. Okay. So thyme is a good anger oil. Even it's a situational thing. Like, it doesn't mean like we're just angry people. Like, we all get upset, right? We all experience anger, and we're like, but we just don't want to live there. We don't want to live in that anger. So we want to be able to take that deep breath, process it, and the releasing is super important. Like anything we eat, we need to make sure our bowels are moving and removing all the toxins. Anger is a toxic energy that we hold, but it doesn't mean that it's bad that we experience anger. What's bad for us is that we hold it, okay? We got to process that. So breathe. By the way, if you struggle with high blood pressure, there's 2 of these that I want you to just use sparingly, and that would be thyme and rosemary. Forgive does have thyme in there. Let me see if it has rosemary. I think it has, but it doesn't have that much. It's like it's like one of the last things listed. So that's really not the concern. It's the thyme essential oil as a single oil, okay, that I'm referring to. So thyme, if you have high blood pressure, then you're going to want to not really use too much thyme or rosemary. There's alternatives for you. Okay. If you have low blood pressure and you use thyme and rosemary, then there's a possibility that it can help with supporting, pulling that blood pressure up a little bit. But that's okay. That's me. I have lower blood pressure, so a little bit of extra extra energy is not bad. All right, so breathe essential oil. Okay, you might know it as air in Europe. So your Breathe essential oil, amazing for applying over the heart when maybe we have situations to where we're feeling like we can't breathe due to our situation. You know, it's like a suffocating time, right? Where, oh my goodness, like I'm overwhelmed. Okay, it helps with just being able to flow through the situation, and to be able to take in that deep breath and clear our mind and our heart as well. So Breathe is an amazing heart chakra. It opens the lungs, of course. That one's a given. So that's your lung support, but it helps with circulation as well. Lime is actually the oil of zest. So, you know, when you're wanting just to zest up, you know, your day, you know, uplifting. It's extremely uplifting and moving and going. It's such an amazing oil. So lime also helps with your respiratory support. So a combination of lime, myrrh, and arborvitae are amazing for when we're having certain lung issues, okay? So it helps with supporting clear breathing. It helps with, you know, the body, helps the body to fight inflammation, all right? That may be caused by like bronchitis kind of thing, okay? So, and I'll repeat that, lime, arborvitae, and myrrh, all right? Myrrh is very grounding to the heart. Maybe we've got too much going on there, maybe a little bit of, you know, anxious feelings and things like that. Myrrh helps with that. I skipped lemon. So lemon, of course, that's your lymphatic system. It's very cleansing to the liver, and emotionally, it helps with clearing the mind. It helps with focus, all right? It's a citrus, so it's very uplifting as well. It's just a clean, like feeling refreshed, you know, refreshing your spirit type of thing. Put that in your water, take it internally to support the systems. But lemon over the heart is absolutely amazing, and it's very cleansing for the heart as well. So if we're feeling like we need just to cleanse the heart a little bit, like, you know, when you get to the point where you just want to rub your heart like, oh my goodness, then take that coconut oil with some lemon and just, you know, rub that right over the heart chakra. Peppermint. So rosemary is an amazing detoxing type. It helps with removing, you know, heavy metals from the body. It's actually used in our cleanse, our 30-day cleanse, and a couple of the products. It's great for, you can put it in your hair even, but it stimulates the brain, the mind. It helps with focus and things like that. But, and they're ancient, and I forgot which ancient civilization it was, but they believed they used rosemary to ward off evil spirits. So it was very cleansing and detoxing to the atmosphere as well. So they knew that by, you know, using this, it would keep away evil. So, you know, when you associate that with the body, toxins, right, removal of those things. It's very kind of like, reminds me of eucalyptus a little bit, but it's very clearing and cleansing when breathing in through the nose. Peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart. So it like puts that pep in your step, and it helps with clearing as well. I had a girl, one of my coworkers actually had come and said, I need your help. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, I don't know. I had, you know, just these people calling today. They're just being very negative. Oh my goodness. I feel like my spirit is just like in this negative, you know, like mode now. I need something to clear my spirit. And I was like, okay. I gave her a drop of peppermint. I had her breathe it in, and she was like, oh my gosh, like she completely felt like this cooling sensation even throughout her entire like being, and she just felt it all fall off. And it was an amazing experience that she had as a result. And she was like, wow. So I love this one for when we're feeling, you know, like maybe we're being bombarded by negativity around us and things like that. We just need to just, you know, clear the air kind of thing. So peppermint is great for that. Ylang ylang is the oil of your inner child. So playful, helping with, remembering that heart space of when we were kids, right? That happiness, that joy. But this is also great for helping the circulatory system. So if you do struggle with high blood pressure and you're looking for something that will help with supporting calming that, helping the body to calm and relax, and take in that deep breath. Ylang ylang is a wonderful, so is marjoram and lavender as well. Those are all things calming. Great for that. Cypress helps tremendously. Now, I'm skipping like a ton of benefits for these things, but these are options, right? So we're not making a blend with all of these oils. These are all the different options, and whichever one resonates with you or applies to you, then you can try those first, kind of thing. But definitely keep the entire list when working with the heart chakra and see where your focus goes, what you're resonating with most. But the cypress is the oil of flow, so circulatory system, right? So if we have a job that we're sitting all the time, then we may want to apply this to the bottom of our feet. We want to help support the heart by putting that oil of flow there, with helping the circulatory system as well. So cypress is an amazing one. Eucalyptus, okay, amazing for respiratory support, so that's your lung support as well. Black pepper, circulation, poor circulation, maybe cold extremities, things like that. Black pepper is also the oil of kind of like unmasking, like, this is actually an oil that can be used to help support maybe quitting smoking, okay? So just breathing that in, when you have that urge, if you're a smoker, and this breathing it in kind of helps with removing the urge to smoke that cigarette. So you could see how that would be amazing lung support. But it's also very warming because it opens up the circulatory system. So great for your feet if you're cold, have cold extremities. Cassia, that's amazing circulatory support. A drop, if you're a coffee drinker, you can add a drop of cassia right into your coffee. It's amazing. I love that. It's in the cinnamon family. So cassia is it's not as pungent as cinnamon would be. It's tastes like cinnamon, but it's a softer type of a taste. It's great. Rose, the queen of oils, all right? So that is your oil of divine love. Rose over the heart is absolutely amazing, okay? If you want to align yourself with, compassion, divine love, all of that, apply that over the heart. Oh my goodness. All right. It's great for all kinds of things, skin support, for scars. There are testimonials on even how it helped with supporting issues with MRSA. So lots of skin, support there. It's great for your circulatory system. It's also an oil that helps with increasing the libido. Okay, so this helps with if you have a low libido, rose is an amazing option there too. Some people have said that when they apply rose to the back of their ears, women use this as a perfume. Okay, so rose behind the ears, they go into a room, and it's like if you know that you're going into a place where like, oh, I know it's going to just be negative, it kind of like, you walk in and it's like just keeps that negativity away from you, kind of thing. So rose, of course, is just absolutely fantastic. There's a reason it's the queen. It's used for a lot of different things, but that's your divine love. So rose over the heart. Frankincense is the king of all oils, of course, and so it's very grounding. All right, it goes into the system and it hits every single cell in the body. It breaks the blood-brain barrier. I mean, what can I say about frankincense that like everybody doesn't already know, right? So this helps with calming, of course. It's very grounding, and it's just very clearing as well. Frankincense is going to be for every single one of your chakras. So that will be on the list every single time. And it helps with amplifying the benefits of any other oil you pair it with. Okay, so frankincense is a booster, but this is amazing on all levels. And it's used in a lot of spiritual practices, probably every one, I would imagine. Every spiritual practice uses frankincense because it is associated with our Heavenly Father, right? Whatever your beliefs are, it's the source, the creator, the universe. That's what frankincense is associated with. So that is just a small list of heart chakra oils. I'm not, oh, well, okay, I'm going to add a couple that aren't on the list, just really quick. If you have the yoga collection, the centering blend is called Align. All right, so that centering blend has the bergamot in it. It has coriander, marjoram, peppermint, geranium, basil, rose. It has jasmine. It's an amazing one. It's an awesome heart chakra, just centering, okay? And absolutely smells wonderful. It is amazing. So here's a blend. So we've been going through and blending up. Uh-oh, I didn't grab my series oils, but basically I have an empty bottle here. But you get your empty bottle, of course, and the blend for this one specifically, this is the one I chose off of the class handout that I absolutely love. But 2 drops of rose, or you can choose geranium, 2 drops of cassia, and 1 drop of frankincense. And then if you were wanting to add in a couple of the crystal chips that we talked about in the other class, then I will share what that one is here in just a second. All right, so I hope you could see this, but I'm going to show you my massive rose quartz, and I'm holding it up to the camera, so I hope you can see that. But this here is rose quartz is associated with the heart chakra. It's associated with love, right? So that's your love stone. And you can see how huge that is. I am a very heart-centered person, and that's my number one focus and thing is leading out of love. I always want to speak out of love, share out of love, right? So I've put a lot of everything that I've been sharing with you, I have personally been putting into practice, right? So important. But I actually place this stone. Right now it's in my bedroom, but on my nightstand, but it used to be on my, in my entryway. So there was a time where I was having tons of classes in my home, and I had a lot of people that were coming into my home. And so I put it in my entryway because I wanted everyone who entered my home to feel the energy of love. I wanted people to walk in and feel the peace, okay, that we have here. I want people to walk in and that be whatever they came with. I wanted them to just be able to just drop it at the door and come in and feel loved, accepted, okay? And that's why I intentionally placed it there. So since then I've moved it. I have moved it into my room, and it's on my nightstand along with like some of my really pretty things. Because when I wake up, that's what I want to see first thing in the morning, and that's where I have that. But it's probably one of my largest. I have a few big stones, and this is actually my second largest one, and that tells you a lot right there. But I really want to have that around too, where my kids see it and just create an atmosphere of just being able to just be yourself, feel accepted, and like I said, just love. That's like our universal language. I'm a hugger, so it's one of those things where boundaries are important. Not everybody's a hugger, right? So if you're one of those, it's like you're a hugger and you just, well, I'm a hugger and I'm gonna go hug you. That makes some people feel uncomfortable. So make sure that we're respecting other people's boundaries too, because I had to learn that the hard way. I was like, ooh, I tried to hug somebody and they were like, what are you doing? You know, but if I could hug everybody, I would. All right, so words of affirmation are really, really important. Oh, well, before we get into that, so we do have the rose quartz in little chips. You can order these online, but you can, and I put these into the roller bottles. And of course I use the clear quartz, right, in with every one of them, because clear quartz is one of those that it's like a frankincense, right? It amplifies the energies of the other stones that it comes in contact with. So that's why I add that in there. So we'll make that blend. I'll actually make this blend after the class, right? I'm one of those, like, I've been using Forgive. I use all the other ones that I've mentioned, but I'll just go over to my oil rack and I'll put a couple drops on my palms with some coconut oil and I'll just rub it over my chest, whatever I'm feeling like I'm needing at that time. But I really like to have roller bottles already put together, and again, be intentional with the maintenance and have those when working on specific areas. So roller bottles are great to have. All right, so jade is another stone that can be used. It's a beautiful green stone. In a lot of cultures, it's thought to bring good fortune, and it's a stone of love as well. There's another green one called malachite. So some of these, like with oils, right, they work differently. So like, for instance, your rose quartz is a very soft energy. It's a very soft and loving, right? So if we're needing some softening, then rose quartz is great. If we're needing some strengthening, then malachite would be great, because that's a more of like the masculine side for the heart chakra. So it's a whatever area we're needing. If we're needing either way to help us keep centered and balanced, then that's how you would choose. Those are the only ones I'm going to mention, because until you're getting into that, then it could be a little confusing, but that's like another class. All right. So remember your words of affirmation. So, practicing this in the mirror, or just when we're using our oils, we can anchor them, and, pray and meditate on, I am open to love. Okay. All love resides in my heart. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I nurture my inner child. I am wanted and loved. I forgive myself. I am open to love and kindness. I can open up to love. I live in balance, in state of gracefulness and gratitude. I love the beauty of nature and the animal world. So getting in touch and in tune with nature as much as possible, and seeing the beauty that we have all around us, because it's so easy to get caught up on all the negativity and the things that seem so ugly, and it's like, oh, because there's a lot of that out there. And it can weigh on our heart tremendously. But we also have to remember that there's so much beauty, and we have a lot of beauty to offer. So when we see an injustice happening, then we can be there to step in and to assist in any way that we can. There's a lot going on, and it's one of those things where, it's an interesting world, an interesting time, but working on our responses so that we're not reacting, and we're responding instead. All right, so there's a few just to help with getting started. I hope you guys are taking screenshots of these things. If not, go back and do that if you would like. So journaling is really important, to be able to remove, it's a way of like releasing a lot of stuff and energy, and clearing the mind, clearing the heart, right, of what needs to come out. And a lot of times we find ourselves, well, maybe we don't have somebody to talk to about these things, but that's okay, because we can write it all out, and we allow our our spirit to process all of this. Okay, we can, you know, connect with, you know, if you're in prayer, you know, add this into your prayer, have that conversation, strengthen that relationship, right? So you can ask yourself a few questions. You know, when I connect into the energy of my heart chakra, it makes me strong to think that, and then you fill in the blank. Just to have, these are just prompts to just kind of, if you're not sure what to say or what to write, this is just kind of get the conversation started. And of course, these are personal thoughts, and you know, it's a process, it's a personal journey. So you know, you can, this journal will be completely private, of course. So say whatever comes to your mind or to into your heart, just let it out. There's no wrong, you know, in any of that. Whatever it is there, it needs to be released. There's no shame, there's no guilt. Just let it all out. And it's extremely therapeutic. All right, so that is everything that I had. I'm gonna go back to, I condensed the information quite a bit because I could stay on this topic. I absolutely love this topic. Thank you. I'm gonna look to see if there's any comments or questions. Anybody have? Thank you. I love the pink too. I have some like, oh, you should see my oil my crystal collection too. Okay, so ways to balance the heart chakra. Here's a couple of different, you know, ideas. So give and get hugs. Like I said, just, you know, make sure you're giving the hugs to people who are okay with that. Give and get hugs for sure. So cleansing and therapeutic. I feel like we all need a hug. People come around, they do. So serve others freely. Look for good in the world and in others. Hold a baby. Oh my goodness. Pure love right there. Hold a baby. Oh my gosh. So amazing. Let's see. Play with a cuddly pet. Watch tender movies. Count your blessings and be grateful. That's another journal right there. It's a gratitude journal. When we are in despair, it's really easy to, you know, kind of forget about the things that we are grateful for. Like, you know, for instance, when we start our gratitude journal, when we're feeling really, really down, it's hard to think of what's going great, right? What we're grateful for. So start off with something very, very small. It could be anything. It could be anything. I'm grateful that I had a really great lunch today. Write it down. I'm grateful that it didn't rain today. I'm grateful, like whatever you could think of, there's like, yeah, well that, yeah. And then as you go, you start to build on, oh, wait a minute. It is very uplifting. And the more we remind ourselves of what we're grateful for, the more in alignment we become with gratitude, the more we attract to be grateful for. So we're transmuting that energy into that frequency of gratitude, and it's very uplifting to the spirit. And again, it puts us in alignment with more to be grateful for. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's. I'm really looking forward to hearing some of your thoughts, maybe some testimonials, you know, your experiences with your oils, as well as maybe even your journaling prompts. If anyone has, you know, anything on their heart that, you know, they have anybody, you know, you want to talk, please reach out. And I'm a great listener. I'd be happy to speak with you. You know, if you need a friend, I'm here. And I love you all. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning or your afternoon with me. And I'm going to stop this recording and say goodbye. So you guys have a great one. Bye-bye.